to episode 14 of La Vida Entre Primas, Life Between Cousins, the podcast where we dive into everything from the ups and downs of love and life to the special bond we share as Latinas and cousins. Today we have a special guest, our prima, all the way from Arizona, Kathy.
Hello.
We also have our producer, Lisa, back with us to share in on the fun.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome, Kathy. If you don't remember, this is the cousin who picked my name on Christmas, but just to throw it out there.
Yeah, you should tell the story because I just heard it last night.
A quick recap?
Okay,
so this is the quick recap.
She just heard it.
Oh, okay. Well,
I seriously
don't remember it.
Although I did start to vaguely, like last night, I was telling my dad about it, and I was like, maybe I kind of remember.
That's all right. We have seasons. First part, we have seasons with our cousins. And I love you. We just went to go visit Kathy a couple years ago, and it was so fun. We have to post that picture of her running, and she's like, hey. Oh, my God!
Oh, yeah, that was great.
It was really
That
fun.
was a shock.
That was fun. I also found a picture of myself outside in your backyard smoking a blunt.
What?
Wait, in what backyard?
Her backyard.
In Arizona?
There was a
In
picture.
Arizona. Like, it took a selfie. I don't know. It must have gotten it from you. Because I didn't bring marijuana on the trip.
Oh, I probably
Remember
did.
when she made us hot cocoa? She's like, it's this reishi mushroom
Yeah, mushroom
powder.
Well, the mushroom powder is amazing.
I'm like, bitch, you just have hot cocoa? She's like, yeah, hold on. Let me put cocoa powder, mushroom powder, and
Mushroom
stevia
powder. No, I think I made it
I
with
just
real
like
sugar.
sugar,
I'm
unfortunately.
actually not a huge fan of the stevia.
Wow.
Like I usually will use honey, or I'll use sugar, or I'll buy like the almond milk that has sugar in it. But the mushrooms are the best. Like I just bought 2 packs of it's like coffee mushrooms, and
haven't
like
had those.
usually
I've heard about
coffee.
that.
Dude, it's really
I did
good.
try it once. I thought I was going to be like all smart, and it didn't work, so I stopped.
Well, I don't think that it works like that. The trainings that I went to on the mushrooms were all more like, it depends on the milligrams that you take.
What kind of mushrooms are we talking here?
Medicinal mushrooms.
Psychedelic mushrooms?
No.
Oh, like psychotropic adaptogens.
No, just medicinal mushrooms, like mushrooms that you can eat. Well, I don't know about adaptogenic, maybe, yeah. But no, they're just like for healthy.
Okay, we're losing our audience.
Yeah, okay,
we're talking about
mushrooms.
Hold on
Down the
I
mushroom
don't like
lane.
any mushrooms whatsoever.
Wow.
I don't.
Okay,
My dad said it actually did help his diabetes, though.
that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. My
The
brother
lions
ate
and-
mushrooms and thought he died. But moving on. Okay,
Those were
welcome.
different.
Those are different mushrooms.
Those
Okay,
were those
so we're going to do a little intro.
crazy mushrooms.
Yes. So we're going to do a little quick intro about Kathy. I think the 3 of us here, me, Alma, and Lisa, can agree. I'm going to talk about what I felt like with growing up with Kathy. Kathy was goals. Like, Kathy was just, take the compliment because this is for real. You were like beautiful and smart and athletic and like well liked. We don't know how we all felt inside because everybody goes through whatever their internal battle is. But I remember
Yeah.
being like, God dang, Kathy, you had long hair and you're beautiful. Then you cut your hair short and you're beautiful. And I was like, mother.
Right.
You
We're
played
not
soccer. Eventually, you joined a very successful band. I was like, dang it, this is like.
Mhm.
So I will say, like, for me, you were like goals.
Mm.
That's how
I
I
agree.
felt.
And I
Yeah.
know we're just 1 year apart.
And cousin partners.
Yeah, we're cousin partners. But I remember like I would go to your house a lot as a child on the weekends with
Right.
your dad. And like I would like look up to you because similarly to Stephanie, I was like, oh my gosh, she's very beautiful. She has a lot of friends. She's social. Like
Yeah.
she's athletic. Like she, has like a nice body. Like just like I just like really like admired you and looked up to you. So I remember like as a child like thinking like, wow, I want to be like Kathy one day.
Yeah. I want to be Kathy when I grow up.
And then for me, it was her playing college sports. And then I
Oh,
was
yeah.
very much into sports. So I was like, oh,
And you have a degree in
I
kinesiology,
never-
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I just cut off
no, it's
this.
okay. It's fine. It's what happens. We just cut each other off and just go for it. But
Yeah, we and Mark were just talking about that when we both showed up at my dad's house. And we were like, oh, none of us can get in a full thought.
A full sentence.
Yeah, because we just like chop each other off all the time.
But
Yeah.
the sports, yeah. You have a degree in kinesiology, right? I
Right,
remember
yeah.
going to your graduation at Cal Poly Pomona.
Yeah.
And so what was it like? I have to know. I only have one brother. you guys also have one brother. What was it like growing up in a house of all brothers, being the singular female child?
Out of 5 kids.
I mean, like, I guess the only way I can describe it is you don't know what you don't know, right? So it's like, that's all I knew. So it was, the boys were very like wild. They always wanted to play, and it was always like outside stuff. And it was always like they wanted to play ball constantly. They wanted to play video games. But my mom and dad did eventually give me my own room. So I had an area to like go away from the boys because like, they would want to go fishing, and like there were times I think where they would like, you can't go. And like when they wanted to do stuff, they'd like go and do stuff like early in the morning. Although my dad would take me with the boys, like to go like fishing in the creek and stuff, but they're just wild. They're just boys. Boys are just, they're just always very busy.
Yeah. I see that. I only have my one boy, but he's busy.
Do you think who out of all of your brothers was like the most like protective of you?
Probably Michael John.
Yeah.
I have some pretty funny high school stories.
You want to share one?
There's one. I have one story of Michael John being like pretty protective. So I went out to a party with Michael John when I was probably a freshman in high school because my dad allowed it.
Okay.
Also, can I just say the picture of you in that polka dot dress is iconic.
Oh yeah.
That was a good one. Yeah.
Anyway, every time I see a picture, I'm like, dang.
So Michael John must have been like a junior.
Michael John was a junior, and my dad basically was like, "Get your sister out of the house." Like, so I went, and so I went to a party, and like, so I started going to parties with Michael John, and Michael John I don't think really enjoyed it because it's like he's having to drag her along his little sister. Anyway, he had a friend, and I thought that he was cute, right? And Michael John caught us, I think, oh gosh. Well, there were 2 stories. Let me just not
Were you scamming?
No, so, okay, so I'll tell this one. So this dude, I thought that he was cute, and like, I remember there was like a Christmas party, and like he gave me a ride home because Michael John like went home with his friend, or I don't know what happened, but he let him take me home one time. And then like, that was it. And then like, I think, like I never heard from him or anything. We didn't hook up or anything like that, but I just thought that he was a cute guy. Well, anyway, like years later, I'm hanging out at a bar in Claremont, and like the dude is there, and somehow this is like years ago, right? It's 47 now, so this happened in my 20s.
Yeah.
So he's at the bar and he recognizes me, and he told me how Michael John apparently went up to him and was like, if you ever touch my sister, if you ever do anything. So it's like 10 years later, and I'm finding, or, back then it's like, what, I graduated when I was 17, so I was probably like 23, 24. And so he told me, so it's like 5-6 years later, and I was like, he really told you that?
That's
like,
sweet.
But Michael John, and so then I went to Michael John, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Are you talking on me?
Oh, I was like, well, yeah. So Michael John was like, well, seriously, that guy was like, really, like, trust me, he was a jerk. And I was like, okay.
I like that.
That's sweet.
Probably Michael John. And also he was protective too because I was hanging out with him when I was like really little.
Yeah.
So he was like kind of responsible for me. And nothing bad ever happened. So.
I find in big families, like my dad has 16, there was 16.
Yeah.
Like one of the older ones usually is closer to the younger ones because they watch them.
That's what my mom and your mom were saying though when they came on too. Remember?
Yeah.
They had to pair up.
Yeah, to pair up. So that's interesting that he was the one who would watch you.
Mm-hmm.
I will say when I was younger, I would walk into a room with Nino's kids and I felt like I was a nervous child. I would literally walk in Christmas, Thanksgiving, and Easter, whenever, to your point that they're wild and everybody be screaming and then pair them with Michael B. I'd be like, I just want to walk out. Like all the like, wow.
Well,
like,
Michael John was always calm. Michael John never really, and like Michael John used to like help me. He would teach me stuff. He was like, but they're wild though, because they'll start playing where they would like wrestle.
Yeah.
Each other. Yeah.
The kids are kind of doing it at Thanksgiving yesterday, and I was kind of like cute to see like them just like wrestling.
Yeah.
And then Mark joined in on the wrestling. Like,
Nice. I missed that part, but yeah, it's always good to see when the kids are like having fun. Like yesterday was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like how like in the beginning they're all shy.
right? Because they don't know each other.
Yeah, they're just getting to know each other. That's so funny. Well, I have a memory. I don't know if anybody wants to share a memory with Kathy. I was doing Sophie's hair the other day. Day before yesterday, and I was like spraying with hairspray, scrunching it. And I was like, I remember it was the 90s for sure. And I remember you two were at Grandma's house. And
Lisa and Kathy.
Lisa and Kathy, sorry.
Lisa
Lisa and Kathy were at Nana's. And one of you was like, oh my God, lay down and put your head up. And we're going to spray hairspray. It doesn't hurt. Because they had started making hairspray without alcohol. Hairspray used to burn the shit out of your eyes, like Aquanet.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, this one doesn't burn.
Wait,
and there I
who
go.
was trying to do your hair?
Nobody. You were like, lay on the bed and open your eyes so you can spray hairspray in your eyes. You guys.
You
But it wasn't like
It wasn't like a malicious.
No, it was just like, it's
We
so
wanna
weird. It
test
doesn't
it.
hurt.
We don't want to try it on ourselves. Which I have a story.
And I was like,
Lisa,
hell
not
yeah.
mine.
We'll just try it on you.
Hell yeah. Go
I
for
don't
it.
remember that.
And
You
did it
felt
hurt?
like-
It didn't burn.
Wait
But
a
I sprayed
second.
Sophie and she was like, it burned. I'm like, you lie. This hasn't burned since the 90s.
Did we spray hairspray in your eyes?
I think or in each other's eyes. I can't remember, but I was
Oh my
thinking,
gosh.
this is crazy. Get me out of here.
I just remember Marsha's closet full of clothes.
Oh, the walk-in
The
closet.
and Chucky?
Chucky, that's
I
where
was
Chucky
always
lived.
scared
Yeah.
of that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Dang, that walk-in closet was a mess.
And all the shot glasses. I just had a memory when you used to collect crystals.
Yeah, those are probably still in Marsha's closet attic. Sorry,
Next to
I'll
the
pick
shot
them up.
glass.
Now you just
I
reminded
mean, I
her.
remember.
Oh no, she knows. She's well aware and wants us to get her shit out of there.
As like children, I remember going to what was it, Lake?
Lake
no,
Chuma?
No, what was it?
Yeah, on Awana.
No,
We hold you
your
in
dad
our
owned.
hearts.
Your
Lake
dad.
Kachuba?
No.
Your dad had.
Mountain
He has a
Lake.
place
Mountain
Mountain
Lake.
Mountain Lakes.
I remember
I
going
remember going to
there a lot.
Can you
as a
guys tell a
child.
story that I wasn't there for? I was not there for Old Joe. I don't know what I wasn't there.
Oh,
So we all went camping at Lake Kachuba, and so like we're there, and I think Uncle Jaime was there
Yeah, they
too,
were all there too.
right?
Yeah.
So we're all hanging out around the fire, and then he's like, "You tell a story," and then like we go to bed, and then he like finishes. Oh, he tells a story about Old Joe, so it's like he
Old
murders
guy.
kids
Yeah.
or something,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Wholesome.
Oh, so
Yeah.
wholesome.
Murders kids, and gotta watch out.
We were
for
in the
Old
same
Joe.
tent.
Right? Yeah. And so
Kathy
then
and
like.
Lisa, you guys
And
were
we
in
all
the
go
same
to bed, right? So it's quiet, like we're just falling asleep.
Trying to go to sleep.
And then all of a sudden, Uncle Jaime
Yes.
jumps up onto our tent and is like, "Oh, Joe!"
And shakes.
And we were
Shakes
like
it down.
screaming at the top of our lungs, like I was shaking, like like what?
Why are
you
you
really
resistant
the
shot
tent?
now?
Can I tell
They
you?
thought their life was going to end that night.
Can
I
I
seriously
tell you
did. Like I was
that-
so scared.
That is the one and only time
You went camping.
I've been camping. And every time I go to like Santa Barbara
Chumash?
to Solvang,
Mhm.
you can take that road and you
Lake
pass
Kachuma.
Lake Kachuma, and every time I'm like, damn, Old Joe.
Yeah.
Every time.
That was probably the last time I went camping too until I went camping a couple of 20.
Did I tell you about the orb?
No,
No.
I want to know it. Yeah,
Oh,
tell it.
Tell us.
So I've been going camping more, and I love the camping. By the way, though, the childhood stuff, I did feel that pressure. I did feel like, gosh, I'm doing a lot. And I think that that's why eventually I was like, I want to just run away.
Interesting. Wow.
We're past the 10-minute mark now.
It's
You can
just
cuss
a
now.
lot.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's the one thing about Arizona that's actually pretty fun is that there's a lot of dispersed camping. So dispersed camping is like where you can camp literally for free. So like at the end of the school year last year, I went camping in Williams. Williams has a lot of like really fun. It's got some good camping.
Is that by Arizona?
It is.
Yeah?
It is. Yeah.
What? What?
Like, is that illegal? Is that copyright infringement?
No. What are you talking about? Go to Arizona, guys. Give them all your money. It's really fun. We're
I've
good.
been-
We're good.
Anyway,
We'll get a lawyer involved.
so we go camping. Oh gosh, I probably shouldn't tell this story.
Come on,
Just
let's
tell
go.
us.
We've told worse.
So we go camping. I went camping with my coworker to celebrate the end of the school year. And so for real, like, you know, we're hanging out and like we saw an orb of light in the sky.
You know, they
It actually-
confirmed aliens are here,
It
right?
really did happen. Like it was really bizarre. It almost looked like plasma. Which actually I shouldn't be talking about this because it's on public. Because like she and I talked about it. We're like, we probably shouldn't like tell people that we saw this.
We can always cut
We
it
can
out
cut
if
it
we
out
need
if
to.
we need to.
But I have a story I want to know. Tell us what happened when you needed to have the bomberos of a particular part of Arizona come rescue you. What
Ooh,
happened?
That was horrible.
Were they firefighters?
So they were firefighters, and one of them was
Were they
gorgeous.
cute? Okay, perfect.
The first one walking up, I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
You're like, oh.
Yeah, and then like immediately I see a wedding ring, and I was like, "Oh yeah."
Yeah,
Tell us
that
what
was the
happened.
first thing
He
to
was
look at.
hella young too. So basically, my coworker was like, "Yeah, you want to go for a hike?" And I was kind of feeling like, "Yeah, I should go like out of the house, go for a hike." So called up Mark because you know Mark is very familiar with the area. It's getting kind of late, right? Sun's going down. Typically, when I hike or like do stuff, I'm usually doing stuff by myself, so I don't have to run any decisions by anybody else. Like if I feel unsafe or if I feel like I don't want to be somewhere, I just turn around and walk away, right? So like I'll just go in a different direction. Anyway, so I call Mark and I'm like, Mark, sun's kind of on the way down. Like, is it safe to go hike up this mountain? It's getting kind of late. Mark's like, yeah, you'll totally be fine. So I'm like,
Mark is her
"Oh,
brother,
okay."
her younger brother, who also lives near her and is a park ranger.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
He works for the,
Got it.
yeah, he works for the federal, for the government. Okay, so, all right, anyway, so my coworker, I meet up with my coworker at the trailhead and we start walking. Well, we come across this older lady and she's like, oh, you know, you two should really be careful. Blah, blah, blah. For real.
You're like, shut up, old lady.
What?
You're like, shut up, old lady.
No,
Mind
she
your
was
business.
she was actually like she wasn't like super old, right? Like she was like fit, like she's hiked the trail numerous times. We asked her about it, like we told her like, oh, we've never hiked this trail, blah blah blah, and she's like, oh, you know, you really need to be careful, blah blah blah, and like turn around, like if it starts to get dark, like you shouldn't be hiking in the dark, blah blah. And I was like, oh my gosh, good reminder.
advice.
I know, right? Good reminder. So so we're walking up the mountain and it's like crazy steep. Like there's sections where there's not even a trail. Like you're just taking big steps over like huge boulders.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Just so you know, we have like hella snacks in this room, so there may be some ASMR going on. This is we're a reunion with Kathy, so we're kind of enjoying. So please bear with us. Go ahead.
Steph saw me
I was
going
about to
for a
peel her
snack.
orange.
I'm about to peel an orange. Sorry.
Go ahead. Sorry. So the lady tells you be careful.
Snacks are
It's steep. Yes,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
steep. There's no
Very
trail.
steep. There's trail in sections of it, but like there's sections of it that are like really great. They're gnarly. So I get to a point where I'm like, you know, we should probably turn around. Like the sun is going down. I'm not in that big of a hurry to get to the top. Like,
Yeah.
There's always tomorrow. Like,
Yeah.
And she says to me, no. We can make it.
We got this.
We can keep going. Come on. I'm like, oh my God. All right. So I keep walking. And then I said to her again, like after, it took like 2 hours to get all the way to the top, like 2.5 hours.
I'm assuming it's dark at that point.
No, so we get to the top. There were at least 3 times where I was like, we should probably turn around. Like, it's not that serious. Like, I'd rather just go down when it's like, you know, there's still light out, get home safe, chill it, right? This girl, I should have just stood up to her and just been like, you know, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
I don't need to continue. I have keys to my own car. Good luck. You know, I wish that that's what I would have done. Like how they say in the TikToks, the old people when they say like, I wish I would have told new people to fuck off, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah. 100%.
Seriously.
I'm learning that.
Definitely one of those moments where I wish I had a little bit more backbone. But
Live and you learn.
we get to the top well, looking back on it, right? But we get to the top and it's like the sun's going down. So we start walking down the mountain and it's like I have my phone light. But of course, like being chatty, I'm like talking to her behind me. And I just stepped wrong. And so it just, my foot like kind of slid in between two rocks. It was so crazy though, because it was like, I could like really feel and hear the cracking. As it happened, but there was no pain.
Oh,
Nice.
It's like I could hear it crack, crack, crack. And then a little extra like torque to try to keep myself from falling off the hill.
Ugh.
And it's like splintering cracks, like,
oh no!
I
Stop.
was like, yeah. And then I actually tried to put some weight on it. She's like, what are you doing? I was like, yeah, I definitely cannot. So I just sat down.
And you had cell service.
And I bitched her out. I was like, you know what? I fucking told you like how many times this was not worth it.
Yeah.
But then I felt kind of bad about it. It's like, oh well, nothing you do about it at this point.
Yeah. So it took how long for people to come to help you? Because you couldn't put pressure on it.
Okay, so I could not, yeah. And actually got really lucky. Like there was a cliff.
Oh my god!
It took the guys about 2 hours to get to where we were at because we were still halfway up the mountain. And like the first thing, because I felt so stupid, because the first thing I told them as they walked up, I was like, yes, I'm so sorry. I am that person today.
Right.
Bad decision, right? Like, why are you going to go hiking in the night, especially on a trail you've never done before? Which is like extremely stupid. Like usually when I like to go hiking, like I do a lot of hiking by myself. I do a lot of running by myself. A lot of like times where like you just have to like turn around and like, you know,
Trust
like,
your gut.
if I was by my, you just totally, like I just totally listen to my gut. Like I'm not going to keep going, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it
So
was
you broke
2 hours.
So you broke your ankle.
It was 2 hours for them to get there, though.
It was 2.5 hours for them to get there, and then we had to wait for another like 2 hours. Basically, by the time that I got off the mountain, it was 2 a.m.
Oh my goodness.
But it was so gnarly. They offered me ketamine,
Ooh.
and they offered me.
Let me guess. You said no.
I did. Well, don't be stupid.
Were you not in pain?
Well,
Or at that point, did it start to hurt you?
So
Like the adrenaline wore off?
well, at that point, my main concern, because when they first got up onto the mountainside, I was like, oh, let me move it. And the guy was like, don't move your ankle. And I was like, why? And he's like, you actually have an artery that runs down through this section. And he's like, your ankle's totally broken. So if you were to move in a certain direction and that gets severed, this is going to be a very different situation.
Oh, wow.
So I'm like, okay. So like, so the pain was there, but I was more like, I want to be, because if you take those heavy drugs, you don't have any feeling at that point, right? So like, I didn't want to accidentally move it in a direction where like I could like hurt myself worse.
Yeah.
I mean, pain, it's like, I don't know. I guess there was so much adrenaline.
Yeah.
It just kind of numbs out after a while, but it was painful.
So how long did it take for you to get, 2 a.m., a couple hours down the mountain, you go straight to the emergency room?
Right. She dropped me off at the emergency room. And
Wait, they didn't take
You
you?
didn't take the ambulance.
No, because that would have been like hella expensive.
It's true, but
And your friend stayed with you the whole time? Your coworker?
No.
Stop.
I just had her drop me off at the hospital.
she got you into the pickle and then just left you at the curb on the side of the road at the
Well,
emergency.
what's she gonna do? She's not gonna
Stay with
go
you?
in.
Yeah.
Why?
I would stay with the person that I went hiking
Well-
with and they broke their ankle.
Until like
I figured I was
Family
gonna
member out there.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is that there was nobody at the hospital. So, like, when she dropped me off, I was immediately taken into a room for X-rays.
Okay, got it.
And Mark was already like on his way.
Oh,
So
forgive
it
her.
really, and it was so late, and like, I mean, it really wasn't a big deal.
Did you have surgery?
I did. You knew I had surgery.
I think I did. I just can't remember like all the details. Pins? Was there pins
Yeah.
involved? And what was the recovery like?
Not pins, screws.
Okay.
The recovery is still ongoing. It's like life changing.
Yeah.
When they drill into your bone,
Yeah.
I think
Oh God, Kathy.
because they have to do guide holes.
Yeah.
So like with the tibia that was broken, at first they go in and they do guide holes because like with woodworking, Mark was explaining to me, and I asked the doctor, and the doctor was like, yeah, that's true. So Mark was saying how like with woodworking, you drill a small hole so that the wood doesn't split or crack.
God. Stop.
So similar to your bone.
Exactly.
Oh,
Because you have hard bone,
Yes,
and then you
yes,
have
spongy
bone
bone.
marrow. And the spongy, they call it spongy bone, but it's still the texture of bone. So but that's where the bone marrow is where you get a lot of filtration in your, I can't remember.
Okay,
exactly.
Dr. G, medical examiner.
No,
What
no,
happened
no, but
after
this is
you
not
got your screws in?
No, I'm not a doctor. I just, from my degree, I don't remember, but I do remember that they call it spongy, but it's technically it's hard. It's still hard bone. I'm pretty sure.
So you had the surgery with the screws.
Yeah.
And then what was the recovery like after physical therapy, a lot of rest?
And you're active, so were you just
So I did too much already. Yeah. So I was feeling better. My ankle was still swollen, and then I was doing physical therapy, and the physical therapist was like, you can basically do whatever you want at this point. And I'm still hobbling on it, but basically I started working out. I started running.
Oh my God.
It was too soon. So it was getting swollen, and it was hurting really bad. And then finally a couple of months ago, I started listening to my body again, and I was like, okay, no more working out. So I've just been resting it a lot, and the swelling is starting to go down. Okay. And I've been icing it a lot and trying to stretch.
So are the screws going to stay in for life, or are they going to come out?
I could have gotten them taken out, but it's why am I going to subject myself to another surgery? I mean, what am I, a professional athlete? No.
Yeah.
I've always been active, but I can still, I just started walking again. Walking is cool. Yeah. And if I can jog a little bit, that's all I really need to be able to do. So, or ride a bike or work out. So I decided to just kind of leave him in. Although I have been getting sharp pains where it's very uncomfortable, but it kind of comes and goes pretty quickly.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, my mom had an accident a few years back where she broke a lot of bones in her body, and she can feel certain times in her knee, in her leg where she had the pins put in. She feels sometimes whether it's, I know it sounds stupid, but if the weather's changing, if it gets cold or it feels, she feels it. So mountains, you were hiking in the mountains. That brings us to the fact that you live in Arizona, a place that's it's populated, but it also has a lot of outdoor space, a lot of nature, a lot of, what is it like living away from the city and away from?
It's great.
Yeah.
I don't want to ever live in a city again. The city definitely has perks, right? But being able to just kind of be in an area where it's just more trees and more green, and it's really nice.
My kids love
That's so your vibe.
Yeah.
I think that it's anybody's vibe. It's just whether or not you want to just give in.
I like my luxury apartment. Thank you.
Well, the thing is there's different sizes of cities too, right? Yeah. So you can still have that city aspect, but still find a place where you have more open space, more nature.
It is pretty nice. So tell us so I'm amongst teachers here. I am not a teacher. Alma, Lisa, you already know our teachers.
But you do have a degree.
I do.
Multiple.
I do.
Are you a doctor yet?
Not yet, but I'm working on it, baby.
Are you? You're going to do it?
I do want to be a doctor.
I kind of want to go back to school too.
We should do it.
But then I don't think I can do my job. Of what though?
I don't know, maybe urban planning or cultural, some kind of cultural study.
Ooh, cultural studies. Yeah. A doctor of culture. I could totally see that.
Yeah, I would love to do that. But let me ask you, this is about you. Tell us a little bit about teaching. What are you teaching? And what's that like? What grade are you teaching?
Well, I'm laughing because it's just been such a long process, right? So you brought up earlier, looking at me, it's goals, right? Pretty, nice body, playing sports, doing pretty good in school, going to college, doing all these things. Well, at some point, you know, it's like the teaching was part of that, right? Because I was like 20. Because I was playing soccer, I was able to get all my classes. So I was just flying through stuff, you know? So then like I'm barely 21 and like trying to teach at that age and only having a 3-year difference. And then also like, I definitely feel like I had like head trauma from playing so much soccer. And like, it was a lot of responsibility. So giving it up so long ago and just kind of feeling like this is not for, like, I just can't do this right now. And then like going and exploring and then now coming back to it. I mean, it's great. Like it's good to finally just be like, yeah, okay, I look old enough, you know, like
you feel the part now. That's important.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like not a full adult.
Not really, because I'm doing 6th grade right now. And like,
bless you.
They don't.
Mother.
I don't use like
awful.
I don't use half the math that they teach these kids. So it's been really embarrassing a couple times to have to be like,
hold on,
honestly,
let me Google that.
I haven't had to work a ratio in like the longest time.
Dude, my multiplication skills are on point right now because I teach 3rd grade math.
Right?
Like, I give me multiplication math, I can 0 to 12, I'll nail them right now. 3rd grade, failed all the multiplication tests.
I mean,
but it's only because I'm teaching them and I do it. I've been doing it for 4 years.
6th grade is so hard though,
I can't
because they're like 5th grade, they're still little, and you taught 5th grade, right? Mm-hmm. So they're still young. It's like a transitional year. I think 4th and 5th are transition ages.
For sure.
Oh,
6th,
totally.
They're edging into junior high school, and they're too cool.
Yeah.
You know, we're not little anymore.
Yeah.
But they're not quite upperclassmen. I feel like 6th grade is
it's a brutal year.
It's hard, man.
Yeah, they're I mean, I guess I kind of enjoy it, but like I know it's not going to be permanent.
What population do you teach? Like where are
it's
you?
So rural. It's like very rural. It's very like kind of like in the middle of nowhere, very small.
Okay.
Like, would you teach younger?
Well, yeah, that was my original plan. I really wanted to do kindergarten because the content is so easy. This is younger.
Yes.
Right?
I love that.
I 100% could do that in my sleep.
I mean, at least for a couple of years. I don't know about the potty issues.
Oh,
like seriously, every time that I've
baby.
subbed, I don't even want to touch them.
Let me tell you.
I'm like, you peed your pants. I'm really so sorry. And then like I give them verbal directions. Okay, go in the bathroom.
Right.
Shut the door. No, I'm not going to go help you.
They already know the story.
I tell them.
Little Chris shit in the urinal the first week of school. His first week at Sacred Heart. At Sacred Heart, and I don't care. People are not going to find my kids. He took a shit. He was like, it's coming out. He took a shit in the urinal and then came out with his pants down with wipies and said, somebody wipe me.
Imagine.
And the principal was like, they're like, she has a very weak stomach. She was like, whoa, whoa. And then one of the other teachers who has like a gang of siblings, Latina teacher, Ms. Beltran, shout out. She's like, I just put the shit up, threw it away. Like, I get your point. I get it. They're not sometimes they're not ready. He comes home with an itchy ass every single day. So I know what you're talking about.
Hey, did you know that's one thing that I learned from working in the vitamin department?
What?
When you poop and you have an itchy butthole, most of the time it's because you have a parasitic infection.
Pinworms, baby. Oh no.
And unfortunately, a lot of meats.
Segue into being vegan. However, I did text them and say, is Kathy vegan right now? Because then I have to bring something like hummus.
They are always giving me such a hard time. Don't
Kathy,
say that you're
what did you eat yesterday?
So I don't want to get canceled by the vegan population. I just want to put that out there.
What?
I don't want to get canceled by the vegan population.
Oh, yeah.
You have to think of veganism as
No.
Wait. No.
Veganism
I'm gonna
is
take
for
an
the
analogy.
animals, and if you drizzle bacon fat on your vegan dish, it's vegan.
I think that we need to think about veganism
You just came in and
and
said
diet.
this is 100-year-old bacon.
Yeah.
That's plant-based.
No,
That's
1
plant-based.
year. 1 year.
That's plant-based. Did I say 100-year-old
The
bacon?
thing is that you know how with autism there's like different shades.
Yes.
There's different shades.
There's a spectrum.
Right?
Right.
There's a spectrum.
Right.
There's a spectrum with diet.
Okay.
Okay,
That's
fair
called
enough.
a plant-based diet, not veganism. Veganism is for the animals, and I'll tell you why. I was vegan for 10 years, and I was in it for the animals. I was fat as fuck. I was not healthy. My blood pressure was high, but I was in it for the animals. I was eating Fritos, but I was like, I don't like the way that we raise animals just to die, and they live in their own shit, and it's gross. Plant-based is for your health.
Well,
And that's why
whatever.
it's plant heavy.
I've been doing it for like such a long time that definitely in the last 3 to 4 years, I've definitely like eaten a lot more animal products. But for the last couple of years, they actually for the first time tasted okay.
Oh.
But on the regular, I still don't eat that stuff.
Yeah.
I used to be way more strict with myself.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, although lately I do feel like, gosh, I mean, when is the last time I went even like a solid 6 months without having some fish? Well, Mark caught all that super good fish.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I
I
think maybe,
smoked
like,
some
you
of that
shouldn't
fish.
label yourself.
I don't.
So
though.
like if you say that you're vegan, but then you eat sometimes animal products, so maybe just don't put a label on it. Just eat whatever you want to eat.
Well, I always tell people, like, if I am having a conversation with people about like my food or like what I'm eating,
Yeah.
like I usually will tell them like, yeah, for the most part, but there's those special occasions. Like one of the ladies in the office, like where I work at, she's like, hopefully you find some food to eat. I was like, yeah, well, it's a special occasion, so.
You're all this bacon's fine. I found something.
Well, the thing is here's the thing. So here's the thing.
I found this girl bacon. I'm
Grandma. The thing is that grandma, grandma.
Tread like
Oh no. So this is the thing. So when I first was vegan, it was like I was literally eating 0 animals for
100%.
years. Like, and it was
I
around
wouldn't
the
even
time.
carry this home to my mom when I was vegan. I'm like, I'm not taking that dead pig to my mom.
And it was around the time when grandma was, it was like the last year that she was alive. And I remember the last time that I came to visit, she had made freaking
beans.
No, she made
Because you're a frijolera.
You
love grandma's beans.
The beans are always. But like, shoot, I think it was like a green chili something. But I remember being like, no come carnes. And she's like, what? And I was like, no, solamente, verduras or whatever.
And grandma looked at you like you were fucking crazy.
But grandma just kind of looked at me and she's like, I think she was like, fíjate, or something like that, just like, yeah. And I was just like, but I regret not being able to have that, like,
Totally.
that last, like, really good bowl of soup. I think it was like menudo or something.
Yeah.
So, like, ever since then, I
Balance.
remember thinking, like, dang it, like, I would have loved to have that.
I think you've got it right now. I think the balance that you have is right. I think we listen to our bodies and we heavy veggie, heavy plant, heavy, and then you enjoy it when you're with your family.
Yeah,
I think
like,
that's important.
Just saving it for like special occasions.
I think you've got it right.
Just kind of like, it's not that bad. And like, it's crazy though. It's really, really nice though to have finally gotten to the point where like I have so much control over myself that like, I know that like when I drive home for the next like couple of months for a while, I'm not going to have any like, animal products. It's just going to be salads.
It's when you're here and when you're visiting. I think that's a good balance.
Yeah, it's funny though because it does stress me out. It's like it's just it's a lot.
I get it.
Cholesterol.
Okay, we had a conversation yesterday talking about you and how much we love you because we didn't go to Thanksgiving, so we had like just my parents and my family over. Do you remember when Kathy was at grandma's one time and she was like fighting with I don't know who, and she's like, "That's why you guys all have high cholesterol." It was like when you were like in the
God, no,
and then my mom's like, "Yes, you gordas, colesterolas." For the record, and grandma's like, ¿Qué dijo? I was like, que somos gordas colesterolas. And then I was like, oh my God. I think you found balance. And I appreciate it.
You know what's crazy is like, I don't remember that either.
Look at
you. You know what my memory is?
My memory's shot.
My memory is going over to her house. This is like every time that I think about her house, this is one of my first memories. First, her dresser. But also, going over to her house, she was at the house by herself, and it was like a cool, like, fall day. And there was like a ghost in her house.
What? Tell us that story, please.
And so Marty had already told the story then when she saw it's on the hill.
Our mom.
My mom and Terry.
I don't even want to say
La Llorona, or the lady in white.
So anyway, so I'm in the house with Grandma, and it was like we were watching Secreto de Amor. And
Wow.
Whoa, she even remembers
Yes.
the name that they were watching.
The girl was on the horse. The guy, he had his shirt off.
Was it William
It was
Grandma?
Yeah,
It was like
yeah. It was like a pink sunset.
Was it William
I think I was in college.
I'm gonna Google that real fast.
I was like,
William Levy still.
Yeah.
So hot.
it was cool. But anyway, she was making soup. And then like, so you remember your mom's shutters?
Yes.
So I come out of the room through the shutters, and so it's like a profile of Grandma. So the Grandma is like at the stove, and then through the steam, there's like this woman walking through the house, and she had a lace dress up to here, and she had, her hair was like brown, and it was in a bun.
Through the steam.
Through the steam. Yeah. Concussions are real.
I was gonna say there's a.
Wow.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I believe you. I believe you.
Wait.
Well, the thing is that Aunt Mary, when I was a little kid, we were over at Aunt Mary's house one time, and Aunt Mary was like, I want you to like give me a reading. And I was like, what? Have you ever heard this story?
No.
Did you ever know that this happened?
No.
So remember Aunt Mary's house? She had like, you know, like that old house with the walk up steps anyway. So I'm like, I don't know how to do that. And like, she turned off the lights and she lit a bunch of candles. And like, we were at her kitchen table and my mom was watching. And then like, she like was telling me what to do. I was like 7 and she was like, close your eyes. And then she like did this like prayer, and she like instructed me like how to like go into the spirit world, but still like stay on earth. And then
like astral projection?
I don't know. Is that what it's called?
Wow.
She was coaching me through how to do a reading.
That sounds scary.
Interesting.
I thought it was kind of fun, but I was kind of also like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
And then she told me that I told her some stuff that like I shouldn't have known about, but I don't remember it.
So maybe you have some supernatural powers.
I just want to know how a lady in a
No.
lace dress from like
I know.
She was
the
totally like from
1920s
the,
got into Nana's house in El Sereno. That's freaky.
I don't know.
I've never experienced anything in Nana's house.
Me neither.
I'm like,
Neither.
That's freaky.
ghostly.
But I feel like Kathy's very in tune to that like side of her.
Yeah, because of
That's
Aunt
true.
Mary.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like really little, and it was like, oh, that was kind of cool. Like,
Yeah.
you know, and then like my mom would take me over to her house. You guys never went over to her house.
In Monterey Park?
Yeah.
I think I went
Yeah.
once.
And was it white stairs or like white railings? I don't know why.
At her original house. Like it was
Yeah.
a steep hill of like stairs that you would like walk up.
Yeah.
But
I don't remember going over to her house.
yeah, she was so into that spiritual stuff, and she had all those crystals and the feathers, and
Yeah.
she would like lay us down on a table and like she
Reiki? Like do Reiki?
No, like so her routine was she would lay us down on a table, and then she would open it with a prayer with Jesus, and then she had like sage and stuff burning. She had a drum. She would play the drum, and she would like do a couple of chants, and she would like walk around. And then she'd ask me to always like, so you're supposed to secure yourself to the earth. Like you have like an imaginary rope so that you don't like get lost in outer space.
Ooh.
And the other thing was to protect you from like, you kind of have to put a bubble around yourself because you're opening yourself up to like good and bad stuff.
Interesting.
So she would always do like, you know, like a ceremony before, and then she would like use these crystals, and she'd go through like my chakras. I don't know what she would do to Mark, but like, or Michael John, but she would go through each chakra, and she would like do drumming, and she would like do chanting, and I remember she would ask me to like take any worries that I had or any concerns, and I would just like kind of put them in like a bubble and just kind of let them float into space.
Interesting. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I think that practice, like regularly as a kid, like definitely got me to, want to be like open to like more like spiritual stuff. And
That's cool.
yeah,
That's cool. So let me ask you, how's grad school? Kathy's in
It's
grad
like done.
school.
She's done.
Are you done?
You know what? I'm really shocked with how easy it was. I mean,
Well, you're
like,
smart. You're very, very
no,
smart.
like
You are smart, though. You're very smart.
I mean, I'm okay, but like the thing is like everything being online, like
Oh,
and the
yeah.
internet.
Yeah.
Because I still remember being in college and they're like,
Dude.
it's called the Information Superhighway.
Remember Y2K when everything was supposed to shut down? in
Yeah,
2000?
I really thought that everything was.
When
gonna
did you graduate
crash.
high school? What year? 97?
95.
95. Okay. I graduated, in 2000. I was convinced, like, the day I graduated, like, everything was going to be done.
Yeah.
Yeah, online is cool. And that, when I did grad school years ago, it had just started. And so it was like hybrid. I remember going to Cal State Long Beach on campus to drop off my submission letter to see if I would be accepted to grad school. And I was like, I could never come back here. Like, there's kids on like skateboard. There's
Right.
kids. I'm like, take me home. Let me connect to the Information Superhighway.
It's
I never
awesome
wanna come back
though.
here.
That was definitely like one of the best choices that I made.
Nice.
Like it was
That's
so
good.
nice to be able to have that to fall back onto. And I think that I kind of always knew that.
Yeah, that's good.
So I was like, and I kind of told myself actually like 25 years ago, like, well, if I have kids, I'm not going to teach. Like I'll like be a mom if
Yeah.
that works out. And if I don't have kids, then maybe I'll go back into teaching when I'm like in my 40s. And so like, that's basically what I'm doing now. So I'm happy about it. It opens up a lot of doors. It's better than doing like customer service work. And so, yeah, and it's really
Good for you.
rewarding. It's, the kids are like, they
Your
really
students
need
love
it.
you. You're pretty cool.
The kids need it. They don't have a lot of them don't have any family structure. So, they're,
Some consistency.
my group this year does, and they're better for it. They're more balanced. They're like
Nice.
nicer.
How many students do you have this
I
year?
only have 6.
Oh,
Wow. That's a dream right there.
That's a dream right there.
Well-
I'm sure you can get some. I mean, pros and cons, obviously.
Right. Well, the thing is that they don't offer any kind of a pension. So I really want to go to a
Mm.
school where I can get a pension.
Yeah. Welcome to our life. We don't have a pension either. Catholic schools. For us.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. I mean,
Do you see yourself there another year, or
No.
you're gonna find someone
No,
a
but
different school?
yeah, like I'm going to actively start looking in January.
Yeah, that's a good time to start.
Yeah. I need a pension.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I can't count on anything except for the fact that I might be working until I'm like 70,
Right.
which is like, 20 years, right?
So what are some of your hobbies? What do you like to do? I know you like to go camping. I know you're active. You like being outdoors. What else? What are some of the hobbies you have?
I've been painting.
Nice.
Yep. And so,
You and your mom are very arts inclined.
Knitting.
Crocheting, right?
Crochet.
yeah, I've been crocheting. And I've been painting. I'll show you the painting. I'm thinking about putting it in a brewery up there.
Nice.
Yeah. Like,
How'd your cozy the things you knit, the beer koozies, like the hand knitted, like
Yeah, I forgot to bring you. I brought you one to take because I was actually at a birthday party. Like I was at Corbin's birthday party the other day, and I was thinking to myself, "Dang it! It would just be so nice to have like a cozy koozie right now." Yeah, I call them a cozy koozie, and basically it's just a koozie that like wraps around your hand like a glove.
right.
Oh, it goes
Keep
around
your
your
nice-
hand, not around the beer.
To keep the beer
I
stays cold,
love
but they're super in your
that.
hand to keep your hand warm.
Yeah, they're fun. But yeah, like a brewery, they have them hanging up. None of them have sold, so it's
Okay.
But this is the painting that I did that I'm thinking about putting in there
Oh, that's awesome.
to sell.
Those cactus. That's cool.
Yeah,
Can I see it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm gonna put.
I like that. Your mom does a lot of that same kind of vibey artwork, right?
Yeah,
So
Okay,
I
so-
go
I
ahead.
keep myself busy doing that.
We have to keep ourselves busy.
So Kathy has lived like a million lives, and I'm doing double duty right now because I want to read something to her. But you lived like 1,000 lives. You know,
Not
you're
really.
a teacher. No, you've done so much more than a lot of people.
So much.
You had some time when you lived in Hawaii. You've lived here at home. You now live in Arizona. A teacher. You've done like so many different things. And one of those things we're going to touch on super briefly is you've been part of a pretty successful band for a while when you were younger. You have a very distinctive voice, singing voice, very distinctive. And I remember very clearly being with my friends listening. Remember Y107?
Yes.
Y107 was like the Timu version of K-Rock. Like K-Rock was like the big, right? And then like there was Y107, which also played alternative rock. And the year was 1999 or
Right,
2000, 99, because I hadn't graduated yet. And I remember listening to the radio, and I was like, oh my God, that's my cousin. She's on the radio.
Yeah.
And then I remember we spammed the radio station to the point that the radio station was like, stop calling us. We get it. You like the song. Like, we'll play it again. Just leave us alone.
I never knew that.
Oh, yes.
That's funny.
Yes. Everybody was calling like, play that song again. And they're like, okay, just leave us alone. Just generally speaking, without like tons of detail, what is it like touring, being young and like touring and living the life like on the road?
It was stupid. I hated it.
Really?
How long were you?
Yeah.
Really?
Seriously, like I called from a payphone at one point. I think we were in Texas.
Uh-huh.
And I called my mom and dad like sobbing. Like, how can I get out of this? This is the worst thing ever.
Really?
Yeah.
What was
How
so
long were you in a band for?
Like I think it was like 4 years. Or
Wow.
like no, 2 or 3 years.
And then you toured for how long?
throughout the U.S.?
Like they wanted to go on tours every summer.
Okay.
So
What
like
did
we
you do
played.
it
Actually,
like?
it wasn't that much. It wasn't that much. We went around the United States one time, and then we did like Southwest one time, like New Mexico.
What was it about it that you didn't enjoy, if you remember?
It's just uncomfortable. It's like I just wasn't really into
Were
it
you
in
the
the
only
first
girl?
place. Yeah.
Uh,
So it's just like being at the house with all my brothers, which is fine. But then, like, I don't know, it's just like sleeping in the van. It just was uncomfortable. And then, like, I don't know, it
wasn't
wasn't
your vibe.
fun.
Do you ever think about like singing again, or?
Well, I do karaoke now.
How
Yeah,
fun.
she does. We went on a
So
cruise
fun.
together. We went on a cruise together, and she got up and sang karaoke. I have a video of that.
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you.
You do?
Oh yeah, I have a video of that from the last one cruise that we went on. Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you. Somebody maybe about 5 years ago. I mean, not even 5 years ago. Like 3 years ago. Okay, so the girls are now 9 and 13,
Yeah.
and they're into like alt music and rock. Like that's what they're into. They're into like hard rock. You know, like you name it. System of a Down, like Nirvana. What else? Like from like Slipknot, Metallica. Like they're into
Yeah,
like
right.
rock music, right? And I said, "Oh my God, I don't know why I haven't played this for you. Let me play a song from a band that my cousin Kathy used to be in." They're like, "Our Kathy?" Because we visit pretty often. We have to go back soon. But they're like, "Our Kathy?" I'm like, "Yes." And I played it, and they're like, "This is so good." And I had played a YouTube video with a song that somebody had posted. And in the comments, I can't find it anymore, but there was so many people saying, "I have never found another female vocalist like Kathy. This was like my favorite band growing up. What happened to her? Like, where is she? Her voice was like so unique, so different. Like, is she still singing? If she is, what band is she in? We have to know." And I commented, I didn't share any information. I said, Kathy's my cousin. She's still amazing. Not singing anymore, but she's a teacher and she's doing great. All these people are like, "Can you get me her autograph? Can you find out?" And I'm like, "Oh my God."
You have fans.
It's been like, what,
That's shocking.
over 20 something years.
You know what's
more.
funny is that Paul just texted me the other day, and he was like, "Hey, how much residuals do you get off of the streams?" And I was like, "0."
Because it's on, it's on Spotify.
He goes, "How many downloads?" Like, I go, "Well, I get nothing. Like, I'm not in contact with any of those people." And I think
Maybe
that
you should. You're literally the lead
You
singer.
need your lawyer involved.
Ooh.
I don't think it's that much money.
I mean,
Something's better than
Listen.
nothing. Start that pension.
No, like I vaguely remember that they had something in there where it was like because they wrote the songs, it was like I automatically like got less or something like that.
I
So
hate
at
that.
the end of your run, did the band just kind of like fizzle out?
I quit.
Okay.
Oh.
So I broke up with the guitarist
Mm-hmm.
who was a controlling type of person.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't happy. I didn't like it. I mean, I had broken up with him after only 3 months. And somehow it was like I got roped back in for another couple of years. But it was like I finally was able to just kind of be like,
Good for
don't
you.
want this in my life.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
So-
amazing. And I think that's something that people don't celebrate enough is saying like fame is not like I prefer to be happy. I prefer to be at peace.
Right. Like they wanted to go to Japan. They really wanted to get famous. And I was just kind of like, like
I
I'm
respect that
good.
so much. Where you're like, as the voice of this, let me pull the plug.
But
Find
really,
someone
I
else.
just wasn't enjoying it. I never really did.
That's
I
important.
originally tried it out to be like something fun to kind of do.
Yeah.
And then it really like snowballed. And I was really just like, I don't like this. Like, I don't, I just,
You didn't see a life in that.
no.
That
I
wasn't-
was just, yeah.
So let me ask you this. One thing we talk about here a lot is what it's like being not Latina enough. Like, what does it feel like to be Latina?
It's really funny.
And to not be people to say like, no, you're white. Because everyone here at this table, and I will say as a person I think maybe looks most Latina, I still get told, are you Spanish? Are you Middle Eastern? Are you Mediterranean? I'm like, no, fool, we're Mexican. Like, what?
Yeah.
But we have all faced that. And Chris tells me all the time, you're not really Mexican. I'm like, I hate you.
Yeah.
But what is it like to be
It's
told like,
actually-
no, you're not?
Well, it's a progressive thing, right? So like when I was younger and I was in high school, I never thought anything of anything.
Sure, we don't, because
So
we're young and we
it
don't
was
care.
just like, I mean, some of the kids at school would say like, "Oh, your accent," and I'd be like, "What? I don't know what you're talking about." But of course, like I would talk with the, little extra on certain words, just because going to grandma's house and hearing it at the house. But, over the years, it's been like certain little things that happen, right? So like I meet somebody who's from Los Angeles and I say where my grandma's house was, and they're like, "Oh."
In the hood.
And I'm like,
Like
well,
that?
I mean, like, we didn't think anything of it. So it's just, but yeah, definitely looking like I have blue eyes.
Yeah.
And for the first time ever recently, only like I was working at the grocery store and like a white guy made a comment that was like extremely racist.
Oh.
And I was like, well, yeah, we would know, right?
Oh, what do you say?
And he was just like, "Whoa." And I was like, yeah, I'm half Mexican or something like that. Or I don't think I said that, but I made a comment back to him like, yeah. So it was really weird. But yeah, it's definitely funny to like not look Mexican.
No,
Yeah.
it's like a thing.
It's
It is a thing.
It's a thing.
Trying to have to prove your Latina-ness.
Yeah.
Did you feel like you had to?
I think we all feel like we have to, yeah.
You're
Yeah.
like,
And maybe it's where you grow up, in the community that you grow up, right? Because
Yeah.
like I feel like when we went to school, we were surrounded by. I never even saw a white kid or a black kid at my school at Our Lady of Guadalupe until
Yeah.
I got to high school. I literally didn't go to school. And then I did have white and black students when we moved to Azusa. I think it was a little bit more diverse.
Yeah.
But prior to that, there was no one but Mexicans, Central Americans,
Mm-hmm.
like other Latinos in our school. And so like we never saw them. And so when
Yeah.
you're less, or you're not less, I
Yeah.
should say, I don't know.
Well, because I'm sure she had them. I'm sure she saw diversity when she went to high school, right? Because you went to public
Was it
school.
it's a junior high. when they pulled me out of the Catholic school
Yeah.
and they put me in the junior high, that's when it was like, whoa. But I mean, like in the neighborhood, I had already had friends and they were Mexican. So it was like, you know, and then going to the school, there were even more Latinas and Mexicans and, you know, cholas and cholos and white kids and like rich white kids.
Yeah,
and,
you had
like,
more diverse.
You had like Asian kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Islander kids. I mean, there were so many Black kids.
Yeah.
There were so many.
Diverse.
It's diverse.
There were so many more kids than the guys.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, everybody's dressing however they want to dress.
Oh, yeah. Is that a culture shock?
Is
Is that a culture shock? When you
Such
from
a
like small
culture
Catholic school to
shock.
public school? Oh yeah, that's what I did. I went to
Okay, me
Catholic
too.
to public, and I was like, I told the story before that the first week of school, somebody was talking about getting finger banged, and I was like, what? Like I didn't even know. Sorry, I didn't. I was like, it like literally blew my mind. I was like, I am not ready for this. It was
Yeah.
wild.
They're definitely, it was definitely a different vibe.
I don't know if it's a bug or a floater.
What?
I'm getting old. You know the floaters in your
Oh my
eyes.
god! You know what though? I thought I saw one around you. I think there's a little bug flying around because I saw one around your head. earlier.
Yeah, sorry. Anyway, but yeah, that's rough. Trying to be Latina or straddling both cultures.
Well, I think it just depends on how you look at it, right? So, like, that's been a lot of, like, my master's classes is, you know, like, culture and bi ethnicity and, like, being biracial, where you're coming from, like, they actually started talking about, like, mixed kids.
Yeah.
You know, where you're, like, you've got both sides.
Yeah.
And, I mean, like, my mom and dad are a really special thing, you know, I mean, like, definitely a unique couple for sure.
Yes. Fun fact: how long did your parents know each other before they got married?
Apparently not very long.
Like 3 dates, right?
It was like
3 months.
it was
3
like a
dates.
couple of months and 3 dates
Yeah.
where he would like drive out. Yeah. I think that's why my standards are so high for men. Because like my dad doing that and hearing that story growing up, how like, you know, he goes to all those lengths.
I saw a picture of you guys when you were younger.
But I'm like, well, I'll settle for a text at this point. I'll settle for a phone call. Phone call, we're good. Like,
I did find a picture.
We'll get married after the phone call.
Yeah, we'll just get this
I did find a
rolling.
picture of you guys, your family, when you guys were all in high school, and I think it's when Paul was playing football.
Yeah.
You guys they look like the all-American family.
Yeah.
Nino
It's
is like
cute,
the big,
right?
like, yeah, Susan was like super hot. Like she was like totally like
She
the
was.
hot mom, and then like all the kids are beautiful. I was like, oh my God, this is like the all-American family, which I understand.
She's still spicy.
She is. I understand your vision because we see what our parents like our example, right? So I don't think I could ever not work. My mom was a working mom,
Yeah.
so like that's the best way I can provide for my kids. But it makes sense now seeing that photo and seeing like the way that you were raised, that's your example of like being a mom at home.
Right.
And I know she worked too, but like there for your, like, I don't know. I just felt like, oh, this is, our examples are what drives like probably what we strive for in life. And I was like, wow, they look pretty great.
Yeah, they're
Cool
special.
family.
For sure.
They are.
Did your parents tell you they loved you?
Yeah.
Oh, Mark brought this up yesterday.
Oh, because Mark listens. Mark is an avid listener.
They would tell me they would tell me that they love me like on birthdays.
Okay.
You know, but it's definitely not a very often thing, and I think it was usually like in a card.
Oh.
I
Yeah,
remember
they're-
I asked Michael John, and he goes, no. He goes, my dad was always working,
Yeah.
and my mom was so busy,
Had
like
to
raising
raise kids.
like,
A lot of
5
kids.
kids.
Yeah, I just remember being kind of like spaced out. Like, you know, I would just sit and like watch TV a lot, or I'd like go in my room and like play with my dolls, or I would just like color. There were a lot of, my mom would get me like these boxes of like language arts exercises with stickers and stuff. So I would like do that stuff. But yeah, it was, and then my dad would get home and he'd be so tired.
Yeah.
He'd just like kind of sit there and watch TV.
And we had a long commute.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
and
woke
it was
up
like,
early and-
yeah, it was a lot. I mean, that's like every day.
I saw Carol Electric truck passing by there. I was like,
Oh, they
Nina
still-
works
still-
hard, yeah.
Still a thing?
I guess, unless somebody's driving around an old company truck.
Their company trucks were awesome though, because like he would get, I think that he bought one time. That was a fun truck to drive around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Favorite childhood memory?
Favorite childhood
Or a good
memory?
one before we close up.
When I got my bike,
What was so special about it?
it was a
I was
pink
like,
bike.
elaborate.
A pink bike?
Yeah, like I got a bike for like my 7th or 8th birthday,
Oh, okay.
and I was like, ooh.
Did you live your whole life in Kokomo? And yeah, cut that out. Where your parents live now? In IE? Or did
Yeah.
you ever live?
Yes.
Because I know they had a house before that.
No, she
No.
always
That was your
lived in
house.
the
always
house.
lived in that house.
Actually, my dad was living in a trailer in Trona.
Trona?
Yeah, they actually had a
Trona.
house in Eagle Rock.
I remember. I've
That's when
heard about
Adrian was
that.
born.
Right. And then from there they went and like he got a job up in the high desert, and then like my mom was like staying at grandma's house.
Oh.
And then like
Oh,
right
Trona, California.
after she had me, they had me and she was in the trailer with me, and then they got the house like a couple of months after that, I think.
And when you guys moved out there, it was like pretty, like,
It was a dead end.
My mom
It was-
says
yeah.
my mom tells
It took
me,
us forever. Sorry for cutting you off to get out there.
oh really? You've
'Cause
been
there
out
was-
there?
No,
I wanna
not
check
Trona.
it out.
To your house.
To, like,
so when you guys
to
moved
the
to
house.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Remember, like, we had to get off on Foothill
The
and then there was
10,
between the
oh,
streets.
yeah.
There was
and then-
nothing.
There was
And then the
nothing.
street was a dead end.
Yeah. So I got my knee cut.
But my mom told me that like when they were out in Trona, she would go down to the creek and she would like catch fish every day.
Wow.
And
Pioneer
she would-
woman. What?
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Any, like, special memories with any of us from your childhood? I don't know.
Well,
It's recording us.
Sorry. go ahead.
Sorry.
Or with Lisa.
I don't have many memories of
She
Stephanie.
blocked it all out. I'm just kidding.
Other than Stephanie always looked so stinking cute. Like she'd always have like your like big wavy
What?
black hair and like a little dress and like
Okay.
yeah. Alma, I remember when they brought you home from the hospital.
Oh.
So like I remember being at grandma's house and like they laid you down in grandma's bed,
Uh-huh.
and like I remember just like seeing you laying there and like just like I was like, oh my god, she's so little, you know, like
Yeah.
she's tiny. And they were just like, yeah, like watch her for a minute, okay? And I was like, oh
Okay.
shit. So I was just like, and I had dropped Tim.
What?
Wait,
Tim
Tim's
wasn't
younger.
younger. Tim's
Yeah,
younger.
I did
Yeah.
good with you though.
Oh, okay.
So like,
Thank you for doing it. Well, yeah, I only weighed 3 pounds. I couldn't do that with me.
but you were so tiny.
Yeah. I'm glad you remember that. That was Christmas Day.
Yeah.
They brought me home on Christmas Day.
Christmas
Oh.
miracle.
Christmas miracle. What
Lisa,
about Lisa?
I mean, like me and Lisa, we used to play all the time,
Yeah.
and like you know what was the ropes one with
Oh,
the
the
jumping
Chinese jump rope.
Chinese jump rope,
That's
Yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah.
I used to love Chinese jump rope though.
playing with dolls. I remember a lot too, like sitting in your mom's room and just watching movies all day.
Oh, yeah.
Like I remember just like always posting up in there.
Yeah, that was the place. That was the room to be with the like saloon doors.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. I think that will bring us to our wrap up.
I think so. Let me see.
What memories do you have?
I don't have memories. You cutting my Barbie's hair with Lisa?
That was
That was
messed
like my
up.
birthday.
I
or
remember
something.
one time
You guys
we were
shocked it. I was
we were at
pissed.
your house and we didn't think your dad was home. We didn't think anybody was home. And we were like saying bad words. Like we were screaming, like cuss words.
Oh,
And then
I've heard this
Nino-
one, I
and
think.
then Nino got
I
home.
do not remember this.
And he like caught us and he like kind of shoved us against the wall. And he's like, "What are you saying?" And then he took us into the bathroom and washed our mouth out with soap.
I do not
That
remember.
was like in the early 80s. I remember that.
Also, didn't you get bit?
that.
Did you bite Michael John?
I bit Michael John.
You did?
When I was little, in the back.
And then
Nino bit me in the back. And I
Did you ever bite again?
I never bit again.
wow.
That must have been
Wow.
like late 70s, early
Yeah.
80s.
Yeah, that was a different time.
I never knew
Nowadays,
that story.
forget about that.
Oh my god.
All right. Do you have one?
With at Nino's?
Yeah.
Or generally, or with
With
Kathy,
Kathy?
I do remember admiring the relationship. Talking about all American family that you even had with like your neighbors. Like you've always been
Across the
really
street,
close with
yeah.
your neighbors.
Got really lucky with that.
Yeah.
Totally. I also think just going over there and feeling like it was so far and feeling like it was so loud. And the water beds. I was like, I just want to sit on the water bed.
Yeah.
My mom got so into that. I remember her taking us to the freaking stores. That's when she got into an accident.
What?
Yeah, she was driving this like big old truck. She's like, "Kids, get in the back of the truck." Like, so we'd all her in the back of the truck,
Like in the bed?
yeah, and like, but there was a
Oh.
camper on the top of
Oh,
it,
okay.
right? So like,
So you were hidden.
she's driving us around to all these mattress stores. She just got so into it one year, and she bought all 5 water beds
I love
at
the
the
water
same
beds.
time. She's like, I'm buying all new water beds. That is the most amazing thing ever. And like, she would take us to the store and like we'd like try out the beds, and
Love
she would
that.
talk to the sales guy
Until you guys popped all the water beds.
No, I mean, like, she ended up buying them, yeah, but yeah, eventually,
Yeah,
I think
they
a
pop.
lot of them did pop, but they did last a long time. They all lasted about like 10 years.
I do remember everybody drinking. Do you remember Zima? Drinking
Oh, yeah.
Zimas at Kathy's graduation
Graduation
party.
party.
And was it her graduation party or Martha's wedding party where
You
Camilla
know-
got hit in the face with a soccer ball?
Oh, I think it was her graduation
I think so
party.
too. My mom's like, no, it was Marty's. I'm like, no,
Oh,
I think
I
it
think
was.
it was
why
your
it's
graduation.
Zimas, though, right? You
Why?
know why?
No, I don't know
The
anything
Zima
about it.
story.
Clear malt liquor? What?
I went out with Michael John and I drank 6 Zimas and I got freaking wasted.
Stop.
And then I got home. It was when Grandma Chambers was still living with us. And so I go home.
Was that when they changed all the clocks on you guys?
No.
Because I remember them changing the clocks on you guys. Go on. Sorry.
So, show up at the house basically and puking in the bathroom, and Grandma Chambers found me.
Oh.
Yeah, so anyway, my dad the next day was like so upset with me. He like made me drink like
Stop.
more Zima.
Stop it.
No.
No.
I would puke.
Nino?
You've heard that story before.
I don't
I've heard
think
it. Now that you
so.
say it, I thought there was a time where they told you guys to like get home at a certain time, but like you guys might have changed the clocks before you left, but then your dad realized it. And
Stop.
I did not
There was something
partake
about
in
clocks.
that. I
There was
did
something
sneak
about
out
clocks.
one time though.
Everybody needs a good drunk story though. One time I got so shit faced. So I wasn't even 21. I got so shit. You know what's funny? It was at a party in La Mirada, and I was like, "This is so fucking far. Why would anybody live here?" And it's like a block away from where I live now.
Ugh.
The person was graduating high school, and the mom got a bartender for their graduation party that was giving us drinks. I was 19, maybe 18. Shit faced. The person driving me home had to pull over twice on the freeway, so I could throw up. Pulled into my driveway. That's when I had the Betty Page rings,
Yeah.
and they were like a peacock.
Yeah.
I dropped all my shit in the driveway. I went into my mom's house. I could have gone to bed and just, dude, at the time I was very thin and I looked pregnant because it was so full of alcohol. Like I was so big.
yeah.
My mom's like, you almost got away with it. And then you walked in our room and said, I love you guys. Good night. And then they woke up. I love you, thing. I love you, thing.
I love
She's
you.
like, you came in and told us you loved us. And she's like, I sat up straight in bed. I was like, oh, fuck. They took me to the other room. My mom put me down on the chair. She's slapping me. She's like, are you on cocaine? Tells you how much of like squares my parents are. They thought I was on coke. I was actually really drunk. And they were just slapping me. And then the next day I woke up and there was like strategic vomit all over the house. And when I say strategic, I mean off the side of my bed, in the trash can. You know, my parents' bathroom is, if you sit on the toilet, the tub used to be right there. In the tub, like if I was on the toilet, you'd get in the tub. And then my mom said, we're going to go get your car right now because I'd left it at my friend's house. And she's like, my mom never eats In-N-Out. She's like, I think I want In-N-Out. Goes through In-N-Out with that onion smell.
She did that on purpose.
Those stories are,
Wait, your mom never eats In-N-Out?
Not really.
Our mom doesn't eat In-N-Out either.
No, she doesn't really care for it.
So weird.
You don't have a story like that?
Oh, I have a total drunken story.
What does it tell us?
I was of age though.
Okay. Well, you're better than me.
I was of age. Well, there's two different ones. One, I was back east with Jaimito and Emily, and we went out. We went to like 6 different bars. The very last one, they gave me this nasty drink, and I drank it because I was like, I can keep up with my cousins.
Oh no!
Can't keep up with them.
No!
We were driving home, and
No.
I like would puke. Like I was like, Emma, I need you to pull over. Like on the freeway. Like,
No.
freeway out there. Her Jetta. Rest in peace to the Jetta.
Sprayed?
All over the back of the Jetta. Like it took her weeks to clean it off. Got to my Nino's house, went upstairs, was like trying to throw up quietly because like the bathroom upstairs is like very close to my Nino and Dan's room. And so I would like try to throw up quietly so they didn't hear me. Demurely. We went out the next day and I was like, guys, I can't eat. Like we were even at a restaurant and I was still puking. Like and then finally I went to the bathroom, puked one more good one, came back out, I was like, give me some chicken fingers, I'm good to go. That one. Or my mom had to drive me home from my old job, and I was shit-faced from casino night. Do you remember that? Mm-hmm. She got so mad at me because I was puking. I'm like, she had to pull over from Mission to home, and that was all in 10 minutes. She had to pull over twice for me to throw up.
They have
I'm
free
just not
alcohol.
good. Yeah. I'm just not good at holding my liquor. It's been a
I
minute
don't
since
like
I've
the
thrown
feeling
up.
of being drunk. I don't like it at all.
Yeah. Me neither. I mean, it's good. It's
Me
good
neither.
time.
I don't drink because of that reason. I always tell people I'm not like uppity. I just don't. I don't like it. Like I don't.
I love drinking.
Like, I mean, I go out to have a drink, and that's like once per week.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah.
But not to like get drunk. I don't get drunk often.
No,
But
it's
I
just
do enjoy like a good time.
But like, I mean, sometimes I'll just get a club soda, and it's like.
I don't know how you drink. So we went to go visit Kathy. This is going to be a long one, guys. So this is like a bonus because we have someone here. But when we went to go visit Kathy, I was like, I can't even walk across the street because of where she lives. The altitude is. So then like you're drinking, you're in a haunted place. That place we went to. I won't say what it is. And then I have to walk back to my car. I'm like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
But you live a party girl lifestyle kind of, remember? Where like, it's bedtime. You're like, what are you talking about? It's time for the bar. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh God.
Kathy's always ready to do something.
I remember when I went to go visit you and we pulled up, she was running. And then she's like, oh my God. She's like, we're at a party.
We're like,
that's not that kind of trip.
we're just trying to say hi.
And I was like, all right.
All right, let's party.
What else? Anything
Well,
else,
I feel
Kathy?
like, I mean, if I had like, if I had reasons not to go out, then I wouldn't. But I don't have a reason not to go out. So like,
So I
minimize it to like one time per week, just to go out and like, you know, I mean, sometimes I meet some pretty fun people. So yeah, it's better than staying at home.
That's my motto too. You gotta be somewhere. You gotta be doing something.
Seriously. Anything
I mean,
else?
I do love a good like stay at home though. Like I feel
Hell
like
yeah. Girl, you're a bugger.
Wait,
You're
so-
always out and about.
I'm curious, so did your parents tell you that they loved you?
No.
Well, listen to the podcast, girl. No, we one of
That
our
was
first
one of our first
episodes
episodes.
was saying like my mom never told me. I know she loved me. But go for it. No, go for it.
Okay.
Our moms never told us, and that's kind of like the thing where we're like,
Yeah,
oh, we
it
were
wasn't
looking
a
for.
thing.
No, for
Do
me
you
neither.
tell your kids that you love them?
1,000
All the time.
times a day, a billion times a day.
What do you notice?
I don't know that, like, I think I tell them because I know my parents love me because they showed me that they love me, but they didn't say, I love you.
Right.
And I notice it's a little bit uncomfortable for me to tell my parents I love them only because they didn't say it and I didn't say it, I think. We would hang up and say, okay, I love you. But not like, I tell my kids, I stop them. I'm like, I love you so much. Or I love you. And the baby now tells me all day long, Mom, I love you so much. Mom, I love you so much. But I also think like it can take away, you have to show your family you love them too, not just say it. So now that Alma and Lisa have stepped out, me and Kathy are about to box. So we're going to go live. I'm kidding. We're going to hash it out. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
It's sad though, because like I really don't remember
I
some
know.
of these stories.
I don't remember a lot of stuff either. Alma has got. I have like
I
the
do
memory of a
remember-
fish.
I do remember losing my cool a couple of times, definitely.
But I was also a hothead. So if you
Like-
guys don't know, listen, this is going to be the part where we talk about. Kathy and I think, are both. I don't remember you being a hothead. I have been a hothead my whole life. I haven't been in maybe the last 10 years. I really have gotten just.
I always knew, like at the house, like I'm not gonna mess around with Stephanie. Like
What? And I
even
always
when
felt
you were
like.
little, I was just like, "Hey, Stephanie, you know."
Shut
just
up,
like,
Kathy,
"Alright."
stop. And I always thought, like, this bitch is coming for me every time.
I was always just in Angie's room watching movies. I never did anything.
We did
to
have a
you.
couple instances where we were, I think, about to throw down, but it didn't happen. It's good.
Oh
it
yeah,
didn't.
we have gotten angry with each other. I would never throw down with my cousin.
I would. Not
You would
anymore.
throw
Not anymore.
punches?
Hell yeah.
Really?
Back then? Steph, back then?
Oh no way.
Oh, girl. Pow, pow. I probably would have. But I'm going to tell you why I never did. Again, I never was like, I'm not going to ever do this again. I'm just going to like. We were at Nana's house and something had happened and we had like this verbal altercation. And you ran and I ran after you. And I was like, mother. And I was chasing you and you were running and we were like, and then I came outside and my Nino, who I love dearly, my Nino came around the corner and was like, what's going on? And he had this look on his face where he was like so sad. And my Nino is like a man's man, right? My Nino is not like he's getting, I think, softer as he gets older, but like he's a man's man. And I was like, oh my God, he looks so sad. You need to fucking cool it, Stephanie. You're a fucking idiot. Like, just calm down. This isn't.
Well, I wonder what happened prior to cause the chasing.
I don't remember. It could be anything. Nothing. We went deep right now.
Oh.
She's like, I do remember losing my cool with you a couple times. I'm like, yeah, that's true.
I mean, yeah. That's what it is.
But
But actually, physically, like fighting, I never thought about taking it to that.
I was like,
I was always just
me
like,
neither. Oh, me neither. I'm just kidding.
No, you're like, I would have.
I would have. But I'm not happy about. I'm not proud of that part of my life. You know, that's gone. I'm not a fighter anymore. I'm a lover.
You're a lover. You're still a ruffle feather.
I will. I'll still beat a bitch up, but just if they really deserve it.
I try to stay out of fights. I don't like it.
I hate fighting.
I don't like getting into. I mean,
Me
I
neither.
would just rather like if I get like especially like I connotate it with work because like I don't really fight with my brothers that much.
Yeah.
You know, I mean I know that you and I have gotten into it sometimes, but it's always just been like verbally like disagreeing or just like really kind of removed
For sure.
kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean like.
I don't like it either.
I try to stay out of it. Like when a fight starts to get like when things start to get to that
Tension
point,
fields and like
I'm like all I want to do is just like
just walk away from
resolve
the
it.
situation.
Or yeah,
I will tell you, I don't like confrontation anymore. I shared a story earlier on one of the podcasts about something that happened very briefly, and I'll share it again real quick. Just I used to be like ready to go, right? Fight or
Yeah.
flight. I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
A couple months ago, I was at Daiso and I had on my headphones and I had on my sunglasses and I was talking to my mom on the headphones and they're the big sound noise
I
canceling.
love that store.
Me too. So I go in and I see a man. He's a large man, heavy set man, young guy. He has a mask on, glasses, looks like a regular guy. And I'm literally walking around the store just talking to my mom, shopping, looking at stuff. And we were having a conversation about her caravanning with her coworkers. And I said, oh, you were following her and you lost her? She's like, yeah, I lost her and I got to find her because I don't know where I'm going, whatever. I'm in the checkout and I noticed this man is like looking at me and looking at me very intently and looking at me and like he's kind of like staring at me. I'm like, what is he looking at? Because I have my sunglasses on. You can't see my eyes. What the hell? I get in line and he's like three people ahead of me and he's saying something and I'm not paying attention because I'm talking to my mom. I hang up with her and I'm like, me? Are you talking to me? Because he's looking at me and he's like doing like this. Like I'm pointing his hand at me and I'm like, me? You. He's like, you're following me. And you've been following me this whole time. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, oh my God. And I realize like he's either having like there's a mental health issue
I've
or
had things like that happen to me.
he's like, you said you were following me and now you're
Yeah.
gaslighting me, and I'm not leaving until you. And I was like, I'm not passing this man. And I will tell you, old me, I would have went straight for him and got him his. I literally went behind the counter and I was shaking, like my hands were shaking. And the girl's like, don't leave yet. I'm like, I'm not leaving. I'm coming back there with you. This man is like huge. And he was screaming at me how I was following him and I was gaslighting him. And I said, finally, he's like, I'm not leaving till you come out. And I said, I'm calling the police because I don't know you. I don't know why he didn't leave until he saw that I was calling the police. And I was like, there's a man here. He thinks I'm following him. I don't know what he's talking about. It was the scariest shit that's ever happened to me. The cops were like, do you want us to come escort you? And I'm like, no, I saw him go that way in my car. I ran in my car. But all that to say, like that fight or flight, when you decide you're not going to be that person anymore, it's gone. I was full flight. I didn't want to fight.
Yeah,
I was literally behind the counter. I was like, help me. It was so scary.
Yeah.
So scary. That happened to you too?
Well, it happened when I was getting off the freeway. I had gotten back from Italy and I was meeting up with friends for dinner. And I got off the freeway like somewhere, I don't know, maybe Orange County. And there was a guy on the side of the road. And he just started yelling at me like, you are! And then like, I had the window was halfway rolled down because it was like summertime. And then he started throwing rocks at my car.
What?
Yeah, and I just like drove away.
Yeah,
Oh no. That's scary.
it is scary.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, like, to have somebody like doing that.
It was scary. Yeah, I'm no longer.
I'm surprised that the grocery store didn't like have a manager come over and.
She was at Daiso.
I was at Daiso. So
Yeah, there wasn't like that. And
They
it was
were-
just when I was in Chile.
Well, the Daiso I went to the other day had a security guard.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Fancy schmancy. It's crazy. Just on my hands. What's the best place you've traveled to? Because you just said you went to Italy. It's like, what's the best place you've traveled to?
That Italy trip was the best.
Yeah. Italy's beautiful. Did you go to Capri?
No.
Not Capri.
I don't know. New Mexico is really pretty.
Oh, my friends and I wanted to go to
Alaska.
New Mexico. Alaska was fun. Alaska was a good time. It's still on. We're gonna end.
we're
it
still
right now.
talking. This is that bonus
This
episode.
is bonus. It's still going, dude. We've done for almost an hour and a half.
I know.
Wow.
Anything else that you want to add, Kathy, before we sign off?
Merry Christmas, happy holidays.
Yeah.
It was fun. Everything that you celebrate.
Happy holidays.
Happy Kwanzaa.
Happy holidays.
All right.
No, this
Happy
was fun. It was fun to participate in the podcast.
When do you go back home?
Tomorrow, unless I stay for another night and go up on Sunday, but
Oh, that traffic though.
People going back?
I forgot about that. Yeah,
Yeah.
tomorrow. So
Yeah.
back to the cold.
Thanks for spending some of your time with us.
I know, we
One
so
of our-
appreciate it.
One of our peeps on the podcast. Hopefully you'll catch up. We'll show you how to download it.
Yeah, I'll have to start listening to it.
Yeah.
I know, she's on here and she's never even listened to it. The
Well,
disrespect.
first of all, I don't have any social media, so
You
I
don't
didn't
need
even
social media
know.
to listen.
Well, I barely even found out about this like this past summer.
That's when we started it.
That's when we started. Yeah.
We haven't been doing it a really
well,
long time.
That's when I first found out about
Yeah,
it.
like a couple
And then,
weeks ago when we talked.
and then we talked about it, and like I've never actually listened to a podcast.
Really?
Zero.
There's so many things
Never.
out there. It's so great.
Yeah, I just kind of, working on the masters and stuff,
Yeah.
and then when I have free time, I just watch a movie or do some art or something. So
Yeah, well, maybe we can inspire you at one of your next paintings and you can like paint what you feel when you're drawing, when you're listening to our next podcast.
oh, that'd be fun.
That'd be so fun to do. Well, again, thank you so much for being here with us.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much for giving our podcast a listen, and don't forget to subscribe to La Vida Entre Primas, Life Between Cousins, so you never miss an episode. Until then, take care of yourselves and each other. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode of La Vida Entre Primas, Life Between Cousins.
Oh, I was like, I cut you off. Life between cousins.
Doesn't. That's right.